Welcome to Regent Park Community News. My name is Trayvon.
And my name is Omar.
Regent Park Community News is produced by Regent Park Focus Youth Media Arts Center. Real World is an annual film festival put on every year on the month of April as a direct response to the lack of positive, diverse stories on screen and sustainable opportunities for emerging talents of color in the Canadian film industry.
Helen Choi, a festival coordinator for the Real World Film Festival, held a film screening with the Regent Park Focus Young Men's program a few weeks ago. The guys were shown a short film called Alla We, which is about the success of the Caravana Parade in Toronto. Regent Park Community News interviewed Helen Choi and Karen Chapman, who is the director of Alla We. Here's more on what they had to say.
Hi, my name is Helen Choi, and I am one of the staff at Real World Film Festival. I'm the events coordinator, who most recently coordinated an event with Regent Park Focus for the Real World Travels. Real World Travels is part of Real World Film Festival, and it's a free film screening where we went to organizations like Regent Park Focus and screened films, like the one that you guys saw by Karen Chapman called Alla We.
My name is Karen Chapman. I am a filmmaker based in Vancouver, BC right now. And my latest film, Alla We, is a beautiful and tasty film about the experience as a second-generation Canadian, as an immigrant, and as a lover of mass and carnival. It's a beautiful tale, and it was recently screened at the Real World Film Festival.
The Real World Film Festival was founded in 2001 by a Canadian actress named Tanya Lee Williams.
I actually heard about Real World a long time ago, I think. I can't even put an age on it, but it was the very first film festival that I went to. They try to represent the cultures and the stories that are within the communities, the many multicultural communities specifically that are in Toronto.
Film Festival was founded with the aims to foster and encourage filmmakers from culturally diverse communities to help them break into the Canadian film industry, as well as to showcase their work and to also encourage and bring a supportive network of aspiring filmmakers, emerging filmmakers.
Do you think the film industry gives enough opportunities to people of color?
I think, and I'm going to be as honest as I can be, as a filmmaker, an emerging filmmaker specifically, I've been looking for any kind of fruit, any kind of opportunity, anything that was more leaning towards me being a Black filmmaker. And the more I looked, the more I realized that the time that I spent looking, I could have just done my own thing. So I think now my resolve is to do it myself. And if an opportunity comes my way, then it comes my way because I've changed my attitude. I'm not asking anymore.
The movie we just watched was called Alla We. And it was an example of one Canadian filmmaker's story about her heritage, her roots of where she's come from. I think it's important for youth to learn more about the Canadian film industry simply because they are the future. The Canadian film industry would not be where it is today without the support of the community at large and support of the government and support of businesses. But at the same time, the youth are our future. So the fact that they're having an opportunity to be educated and to have opportunities to learn more about the Canadian film industry, I think that shows signs of a promising Canadian film industry.
As a filmmaker or whatever it is that you're doing, you go through school and you're told that you have to be yourself, and it's very much so a cliche, but it's so true. And so what I think is different about Alla We is that it's my own perspective. It's a perspective that many people can also relate to as second and first generation immigrants as well. And it's got Caravana in it.
we're back. Hey, Trayvon, did you see any Canadian independent films recently?
The last one that I saw was Invisible City, and that was about the revitalization in Regent Park, and I believe it followed the lives of a few members of the community growing up.
Yeah, there's one I specifically remember about that movie. It followed Ainsworth Morgan. That teacher used to be a professional football player. Okay. Should watch that again.
I definitely think I should rewatch that movie. But anyways, ShowLove is a community event to bring together residents, agencies, and visitors in the community to meet and connect with each other. They meet and connect with each other every Friday to engage in activities reflecting on issues in the community to show love.
Each week, the activities feature a specific theme with the community. Previous themes included wellness, fitness, and community cleanup. The event also has contests with prizes. If you want to show love, come to the next event.
Community gardens have been very popular in Regent Park for decades. Many residents have been growing their own food from outside of their buildings for years. Regent Park Community News went to talk to some of these residents who were very eager to tell us about why they grew their own food. Many of them came from various different countries where they would grow their own food, and since they've come to their adoptive country, Canada, they've decided to take up their same practice and continue growing their vegetables here.
We also spoke to Rebecca, a community development officer and a community garden advocate. She told us a lot about the importance of community gardening. She also added that community gardening can be a positive approach to reduce crime in the neighborhood.
Growing food in the city is very important for many different things in terms of the benefits on the overall environment with regards to gardens just in general are just better for the environment, for reducing the carbon footprint, things of that nature. Also connects people back to their roots, I guess, in that sense. So if you might be someone who might have immigrated from a country where it was more part of your culture to do farming, but also I guess people who are born and raised in the city, it connects them to their rural roots and shows that connection. I think that sometimes that's lost when you live in cities, like knowing where your vegetables come from, having that connection to nature, which is another important aspect, is connecting people back to nature.
I'm from Bangladesh. Most of them similar, they're planting in Bangladesh too. Yeah, it's nothing different, yeah. Almost everything they're planting in Bangladesh.
I'm here at tenant and it is my garden. We are growing same type of the garden and make vegetable like this.
Having a garden, for instance, a community garden is good for helping prevent crime, for actually building better communities because people come and congregate in spaces and which they might not have necessarily done in the past.
It's not too long ago. It's a start from last year, like we can plant beside the building. So this is the second year because they were going to break all this building. Maybe that's why housing giving permission, temporarily to plant this vegetable.
Good for the tenant, good for everybody.
Especially they didn't give the permission to plant the vegetable only. They said put some flower, this kinds of stuff,
For people who do not have a backyard, one of the big things that I would probably recommend for them to do is container gardening. And you can do container gardening on your stoop in your front of your house if you live in a house, or if you live in a low-rise building that doesn't have balconies. You can do container gardening on your windowsill. If you have a balcony, you can do it on your balcony. We don't have that luxury of being able to be on a farm, 2 hours outside of Toronto and, grabbing your potatoes. But we do have that ability to do that through community gardening and creating some sort of gardening co-ops or whatever you care to call it inside the city.
Lots of people, they are planting their own food, growing their own food because this is like they think that maybe this is helping their side,
I think it's really important for people to care where their food comes from because you don't know what goes into your food. By growing your own food, you're also in more control of knowing what it is, what's going into it, and with the rising of different kinds of disease and that are more closely associated to health and what you eat, it's really critical for you to engage your food and look at your food differently. I think we kind of take things like that for granted. But it's really important to understand, being healthy is not just about going to the gym and working out for 2 hours a day. Being healthy is about what you eat and how you eat it, and how that relationship that you also build with food, and ensuring that that relationship that you build with food is healthy and a productive one.
Most of the garden and the vegetable or the leaves is organic, and it is very tasty.
One of the really interesting things about growing your own food is that it tastes better, it's more nutritious. You are actually in control of what goes into your garden. So, and it's not that hard. It's not, you can start with like a small little container. It doesn't have to be big and fancy like our containers here. You'd be surprised how and where you can garden. And people are finding very different, innovative approaches to gardening. And I just think from a health standpoint, it's something that's really beneficial, and not only are you doing it for yourself in terms of making yourself healthy, but you're also creating a better and more healthier environment too as well.
That is it for Regent Park Community News. My name is Trayvon.
And my name is Omar.
And my name is Rahul. And Regent Park Community News has been brought to you by Regent Park Focus Youth Media Arts Center.